Hi, my name is James Jaro. I'm currently a second year student at the University of Central Florida, and this is my to-do list program. So, as you can see, I have 8 classes, each of them separated by their functionality. So each class has a single purpose and a single purpose only. I have also 2 fxml files along with 2 controller classes to control them, respectively. I have a help window controller for my user guide and an item controller, which is going to be the main GUI that will be launched when I hit the run button from Gradle. I have 5 other helper classes, not including the 2 controller classes and the to-do list application. And those 5 helper classes will help out the controller classes perform their functionality as needed. In addition to that, I have 3 test classes, one for the item controller test, one for the serialization class, and one for the validator class. I did not do one for create date, help window controller, item, to-do list, and to-do list application. The reason is for the to-do list application, it is simply 2 methods, which is main and start. Help window controller is simply set and get methods, and create, and the other helper classes are also set and get methods. So that is why I did not test them. To show that each of the test classes run, I will now run each of them by using the test from Gradle. And as you can see, item controller test passes all the tests I created. We can do this for serialization as well. Same thing here, all 18 tests have passed. And finally, validator test. And as you can see, when this finishes, it also passed the tests necessary that I created. So that shows that all of my test classes run perfectly as designed. I also have a docs folder with my diagram UML file as needed. Now, as for the main program itself, to show that it compiles and runs smoothly, I will hit the run, and here is my GUI app program. So the reason why I designed it, the reason why the design is as is, when I was in high school, I did a GUI program already, so I had experience already when it came to the idea of GUI, and I was very familiar with the idea of buttons. So I wanted to show that I still have a mastery of what I remember in high school, which is using buttons. But I also wanted to show that I've learned a lot more since high school. So to do that, I use table view. So for my items, so that they are split into their respective sections: description, due date, and completion status. And the use of a menu bar, which will help alleviate the use of too many buttons, because each of these would be an individual button down here as well. So the menu bar is really just to make it nicer and to remove the use of too many buttons. As for the actual functionality of this GUI program, it all starts with adding an item. So if I want to add an item, simply add an item. And I will create a default item called new item with a default due date and the completion status of false. If I wanted to remove this item, all I have to do is click the item itself and then click the button called remove item, and it removes an item. But if I had multiple items, let's say 5 items, and I wanted to clear all 5 of them at once without having to hit the remove item 5 times, I have the clear list option, which will do as it says, clear the entire list. So if I click clear list, all 5 items disappear. Now, as for editing the description, due date, and completion status respectively, all I have to do is click the item again, and this time, instead of adding, removing, or clearing a list, I will edit either description, date, or the completion status. For example, editing the description, give it a new description, and I do not accept any empty descriptions or any description longer than 256 characters. So let's say this is a new item. Save that. It's an acceptable description. So this is my description. now from item 1 to this is a new item. If I wanted to change the due date, again, I can type in acceptable due date based on the Gregorian calendar. Let's say I wanted to add this due date. This would be an invalid due date because there was no such thing as an 89th day. So my program will reject it and ask me to redo it again. So I'll give it another due date. So I'll give it my birthday date, which is this date right here. And it accepts and allows me to have that date. Unfortunately, my program does not allow empty due dates as well. It forces the user to have some sort of a due date. With regards to its completion status, rather than doing checkboxes, I simply use the true or false, where false implies that the item is not complete, and true represents if the item is complete. Simply hitting edit complete will change the completion status from false to true and true to false respectively, as you can see. If I wanted to save this as a file, I simply click Save List from the File option in the menu bar, and I give the user an option to either save it as a TXT or a JSON file. Let's say I wanted to save this, let's call this test2.txt. So now that file saved, and to show that it works, I will create a list, and now I'm going to load that exact same thing from my computer. So again, go into UCF, git, find test2, and this is the exact list that I had before I deleted it. And if I wanted to load another list, I simply go to wherever I saved it on my computer. Let's say I want to load up a text file called list2. I'll click on it, and now you can see it overrides whatever was on the table before, and now list2 is shown as here. To show that the view buttons work, I give the user 3 options: display all the items, which is the current display option. I can display it by their completion status, whether they're complete or incomplete. Complete filters out whether it is true. So as you can see, these are the items that are complete because they have a true value. And incomplete will filter out to show false values, which is this item. And then finally, if the user needs any assistance on how my GUI program runs, they can click the help option in the menu bar, and it'll give an open help window option, and that'll open up another scene which has 9 buttons in here, each of them describing a different part of the GUI application. For example, what the table is meant to represent, how to add an item, how to remove an item, how to clear the list, how to edit the description and what the requirements are, how to edit the due date and what its requirements are, how to edit the completion status, changing between true or false, how to display an item based on its completion status, and how to save the list as a file, either TXT or JSON in my case. And as a little bonus, this this program can also sort by due date. To show that functionality, I will pull up list2 again, and now if I wanted to edit this by due date, all I have to do is click on the due date, and it'll sort by either ascending or descending date order. Again, with year having higher first priority, then month, and then the day. As you can see, since 2002 is the smallest year out of all of these, it goes first. If I wanted to order by descending, 2012 would be first because it's the highest, and then everything else is smaller. And that is my program. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.